I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. I learned very early the difference between knowing the name of something and knowing something. What I cannot create, I do not understand. The pleasure of finding things out is the greatest reward of science. You have no responsibility to live up to what other people think you ought to accomplish. I'm not afraid of not knowing things. I'm afraid of not asking questions. Study hard what interests you the most in the most undisciplined, irreverent, and original manner possible. Physics is like sex. Sure, it may give some practical results, but that's not why we do it. The worthwhile problems are the ones you can really solve or help solve, the ones you can really contribute something to. To not know is not a failure. The failure is to pretend that you know. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. It is important to realize that in physics today, we have no knowledge of what energy is. Science is the belief in the ignorance of experts. You can know the name of a bird in all the languages of the world, but when you're finished, you'll know absolutely nothing about the bird. I think it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers which might be wrong. The best way to teach is to have no predetermined plan. Reality must take precedence over public relations, for nature cannot be fooled. The joy of understanding is the most exquisite form of joy. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You'll never learn anything new unless you're willing to be wrong. You have to have absolute honesty. I can live with doubt and uncertainty and not knowing. I think it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers that might be wrong. Nature uses only the longest threads to weave her patterns, so each small piece of her fabric reveals the organization of the entire tapestry. Fall in love with some activity and do it. Nobody ever figures out what life is all about, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how beautiful your theory is. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If it doesn't agree with experiment, it's wrong. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. The imagination of nature is far, far greater than the imagination of man. You can't fool nature. I think nature's imagination is so much greater than man's. She's never going to let us relax. I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb. If you want to find out anything from a theoretical physics point of view, you better make damn sure you understand quantum mechanics. The test of all knowledge is experiment. We are trying to prove ourselves wrong as quickly as possible, because only in that way can we find progress. The important thing is to not stop questioning. What I cannot create, I do not understand. You have to keep an open mind. It is the responsibility of every physicist to keep the door to the unknown ajar. Science is the belief in the ignorance of experts. Physics is to math what sex is to masturbation. You have to do the best you can, and if you do, you're a success. For successful technology, reality must take precedence over public relations. For nature cannot be fooled. The worthwhile problems are the ones you can really solve or help solve. I learned very early the difference between knowing the name of something and knowing something. You can know the name of a bird in all the languages of the world, but when you're finished, you'll know absolutely nothing about the bird. You have no responsibility to live up to what other people think you ought to accomplish. The only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. You've got to keep the curiosity alive. A physicist worth his salt would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. Don't just teach the facts, teach the method. Nature uses only the longest threads to weave her patterns. The pleasure of finding things out is the greatest reward of science. I'm not afraid of not knowing things. I'm afraid of not asking questions. You can't believe in science unless you believe in honesty. It is better to have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. The imagination of nature is far, far greater than the imagination of man. What does it mean to understand something? That is the key question. We're trying to prove ourselves wrong as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter how beautiful your theory is. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If it doesn't agree with experiment, it's wrong. To teach is to learn twice. You must not fool yourself, and you're the easiest person to fool. If you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics. Science is a way of trying not to fool yourself. Fall in love with some activity and do it. The best way to teach is to have no predetermined plan. The joy of understanding is the most exquisite form of joy. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Feynman likes spirit. It's not about the answers, it's about the questions. Experiment is the sole judge of scientific truth. I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. The beauty of a flower is in its simplicity and complexity. Understanding is deeper than knowledge. Curiosity is the essence of human existence. Science is the belief in the ignorance of experts. The scientist's responsibility is to question the status quo. Every problem has its solution. You just have to find it. Reality must take precedence over public relations. The joy of finding things out is the best feeling in the world. Learning is a constant process of discovery. One must always question and verify. It's more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers that might be wrong. Science requires doubt and humility. Keep an open mind and be willing to be wrong. If you want to learn something new, be prepared to be confused. True knowledge comes from experience and experiment. Being wrong is the first step to being right. Science is a tool for understanding nature, not a religion. The thrill of discovery is worth the risk of failure. We do not teach science to give answers, but to teach the spirit of inquiry. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Einstein quote echoed by Feynman. Science is fun. Science is curiosity. You must have a deep passion for what you study. The scientific method is the best way we have to understand the world. The greatest gift you can give is the love of learning. Always question and never stop exploring. The universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it is stranger than we can imagine. Learn to appreciate the beauty in the unknown. Keep searching, keep questioning, keep learning. Science is not about answers, it's about better questions. Curiosity is more powerful than fear. The universe rewards the persistent thinker. Seek understanding, not applause. Every problem hides a lesson. What you can't explain, you don't really understand. Learning is infinite. Dive deeper. Truth has no agenda. Be fascinated by the ordinary. Precision is a form of beauty. There is elegance in simplicity. You grow by being wrong. Be honest with your ignorance. Truth is uncovered, not invented. The best discoveries come from unexpected places. Don't memorize, understand. Take delight in being surprised. The universe is a giant experiment. You are a participant in reality, not just an observer. What nature does is always right, even if you don't like it. Discovering is better than knowing. Confusion is a sign of growth. Nothing is obvious until it's explained well. The joy is not just in knowing, but in learning how to know. Act like a child. Think like a scientist. Don't fear complexity. Follow it until it becomes clear. Think deeper than the surface of things. Understand nature on her own terms. Discover with wonder, not with pride. Don't rush the journey of learning. Clarity comes from struggle. Never trust a beautiful theory without ugly data. Complexity doesn't equal depth. Learn the rules, then test them. Explore your ignorance bravely. Science starts when certainty ends. Don't protect ideas, test them. Be rigorous, not rigid. Ask questions no one else dares to. Insight begins with noticing. Be humble in the face of mystery. Wonder is stronger than knowledge. To understand is to respect. Don't fear not knowing. Fear not seeking. Curiosity survives where ego fades. Precision without meaning is useless. Complexity hides in the simplest things. The pursuit of truth demands courage. Learn not to win debates, but to understand. Observe first. Theories come later. Nature is subtle, not silent. Don't cling to certainty. Chase the unknown. Every answer is temporary. Wonder creates wisdom. Keep thinking until you see clearly. Ideas must survive experiments, not egos. Learning is never wasted. Don't seek comfort, seek clarity. The world is full of patterns. Learn to see them. Respect every why from a curious mind. Silence your assumptions. Being wrong is a scientist's best tool. Dig into your confusion. It's gold. Nature is consistent, even if we don't understand her. No idea is sacred, only tested. Insight needs no audience. Learn to love the cracks in your knowledge. Simplicity is the final step of mastery. Think slowly. Think clearly. Precision is the cousin of truth. Find truth, not confirmation. The world is your laboratory. Imagination gives you the tools. Experiments prove their worth. Even a small discovery can change everything. Your mind is a microscope. Follow questions that make you uncomfortable. Clarity lives beyond confusion. Truth does not fear revision. Science is the art of not being fooled. Question your deepest beliefs. Complexity is just unrevealed simplicity. Discovery begins when judgment ends. An open mind is a sharp tool. Genius is curiosity married to patience. Wisdom is the art of staying curious. Learn something that surprises you every day. Don't just learn, relearn. Experiments are conversations with nature. The real reward is deeper understanding. Don't chase certainty, chase coherence. Be a scientist of your own thoughts. Curiosity doesn't retire. A good theory dies easily in bad data. Learning is the ultimate rebellion. Everything reveals something if you look long enough. Progress is built on the rubble of broken beliefs. The best minds don't settle, they wonder. Don't aim to be right, aim to learn. Make space for questions in your life. Curiosity turns chaos into clarity. Learning is not about status, it's about passion. The most powerful tool is an open mind. Science is not a subject, it's a way of thinking. Wonder doesn't fade with age unless you let it. Let curiosity be your compass. The smallest question can unlock the biggest ideas. Think freely, not fearfully. Truth is never afraid of questions. The universe doesn't care what you believe, only what is true. Admit when you're wrong. It's how progress begins. The best minds are full of doubt and wonder. The more we understand, the more we realize how little we know. There's no end to the adventure of understanding. The fun is not in having the answer, but in hunting it. Great minds don't have all the answers. They have better questions. Science begins with what if? Keep digging. Simplicity is buried under confusion. The deeper the truth, the simpler it feels. There are no boring topics, only bored minds. Test ideas, not people. In science, failure is data. Curiosity is the ultimate strength. Don't decorate ignorance with confidence. Listen more to nature than to opinion. Every "I don't know" is a step forward. Learn from mistakes. They're the most honest teachers. Good questions change everything. The best education is self-driven. Truth is not up for a vote. Doubt is a sign of thinking. Keep thinking until you reach the edges of understanding. What you know may limit what you'll discover. Don't be dazzled by complexity. Seek clarity. Every layer of understanding uncovers more mystery. The world is rich with hidden truths. The simplest explanations are the hardest to earn. Wisdom grows in the soil of uncertainty. Learn the rules of nature, not the rules of tradition. The world isn't built on belief, it's built on reality. Observe without bias. Curiosity thrives where ego dies. Knowledge is a map. Experience is the journey. Never fear being the one who questions. The answer is important, but the path is sacred. When you truly understand, you can explain it simply. Progress is born from not knowing. Let your questions take you places. Celebrate what you don't yet know. Be a student of nature, not of opinion. Complexity is an invitation, not a wall. Learning begins where assumptions end. An idea is only as strong as its resistance to being tested. The deeper you think, the more humble you become. There's elegance in every truth of nature. True curiosity never seeks to impress. Every question leads to another dimension. The reward of knowledge is wonder. Embrace confusion. It means you're learning something new. There is no shortcut to understanding. Even the smallest insight is a victory. Let nature surprise you. Learning is not linear, it's exponential. Speak only what you can test. Every discipline begins with curiosity. Accept discomfort. It means your brain is growing. Knowledge is not power. Understanding is. Be precise with words, and even more with thoughts. The world doesn't owe you clarity. You must earn it. See ideas as tools, not truths. Every time you test something, you're closer to the truth. Trust the process, not the shortcut. Seek the unknown, not just the unseen. Real insight is invisible to the uncurious. Think like nature, without ego or intention. Don't admire complexity, unravel it. Understanding is like light, it spreads. Respect ignorance as the beginning of knowledge. Even chaos is rules. Find them. Real scientists embrace confusion. Let your mind be wild and disciplined. Complexity should be explained, not celebrated. Insight is the art of seeing clearly in fog. Start with curiosity. Follow with discipline. If it feels easy, you probably miss something. Never fall in love with your ideas. The truth needs no defense, only demonstration. Learn not for answers, but for questions. Explore the unknown like it's your playground. Wonder is the engine of wisdom. Test ideas without mercy. Listen carefully. Nature whispers. Don't just study science, live it. Know when to say, I was wrong. Good science is honest, humble, and curious. Pay attention to details. They carry the truth. Don't pretend to know. Learn until you do. Reality is indifferent to belief. Intelligence is asking better questions. The universe rewards honest thinking. The best discoveries happen when you're not looking for them. Don't protect ideas, improve them. Real thinking starts when you question what you believe. You don't need permission to wonder. Let the facts shape your opinions, not the other way around. Ask naive questions. They're often the smartest. There's more to learn than time allows, so start now. Doubt isn't the enemy. It's the gatekeeper to understanding. Be curious enough to be wrong. Science is organized curiosity powered by honesty. What you can't test, you can't trust. Your mind is a tool. Sharpen it with questions. Don't believe something because it feels right. Test it. Everything has a reason. Find it. Intelligence grows in discomfort. Ideas should be flexible, not fragile. Knowledge is the shadow of observation. A good mind never stops learning. Look beneath the obvious. Never stop at the first answer. Knowledge doesn't arrive, it accumulates. Test what you know by trying to explain it. Don't fear doubt. Fear certainty without evidence. Start with observation, not assumption. The most beautiful thing is a well-asked question. Learning is more than answers, it's awareness. The best explanations make things feel simple. Science is not about control, it's about respect for nature. Ignorance is not shameful, only unwillingness to learn is. Curiosity changes how you see the world. Be precise in thought, loose in ego. Don't cling to theories, cling to evidence. The real test of knowledge is explanation, not recitation. Wonder can't be faked. Ask questions that bother you. Those are the important ones. Learn deeply, not widely. The more clearly you think, the fewer words you need. Do science with your eyes open and ego closed. Simplicity is nature's signature. Good science makes things clearer, not more complicated. Search for clarity, not certainty. You don't need answers to be amazed. Ask why until it hurts. Questions build bridges to understanding. Even the simplest thing is full of mystery. The closer you look, the weirder it gets. There's magic in honest ignorance. If you stop questioning, you stop learning. Knowing the name of something isn't knowing it. Always leave room for a better explanation. Nature doesn't care about your theory. Think slowly, then act wisely. Science is truth without compromise. Practice thinking like a skeptic and observing like a poet. Learn until you can teach it simply. Ask yourself, what do I really know, and how do I know it? A clear mind makes powerful questions. Don't stop at understanding. Be thrilled by it. Simplicity is the final reward of deep thought. When the data speaks, listen. Ideas are tools. Use them, fix them, or replace them. Be passionate about not knowing. It means there's more to learn. There is no such thing as a final answer. What we know is a drop. What we don't is an ocean. Accept complexity, but aim for clarity. Be brave enough to follow the question, not the crowd. Every moment of confusion is a chance to grow. Replace fear of error with hunger for truth. The best learners make the best teachers. Don't be satisfied with the surface. Dig deep. Knowing what's wrong is the first step to getting it right. The greatest discoveries begin with, that's strange. Observe everything. Assume nothing. Make sense, not noise. Be a collector of questions. The pursuit of truth is more valuable than the possession of it. Precision is respect for the subject. A clear explanation reveals clear thinking. Think from first principles, not from memory. Study the world like it's your favorite book. Even common things are full of uncommon beauty. Ask questions that scare you. They matter most. A problem well stated is half solved. Humility fuels discovery. The mind expands in the presence of mystery. Ideas evolve, let them. Great answers require better questions. Wonder is a scientific tool. Think like a rebel, test like a scientist. What's obvious to you might be invisible to others. Let the evidence lead the way. Precision in language leads to precision in thought. If you can't explain it simply, dig deeper. The truth is not always comfortable, but it's always right. Every fact has a story. Look for patterns in the chaos. Ask how things work, then ask why they work that way. Let your curiosity annoy your ignorance. Be thrilled by how little you know. The greatest adventure is understanding the universe. Every question you ask sharpens your mind. The path to truth is paved with humility. Ask not for easier problems, ask for deeper understanding. You don't need to be a genius to love learning. Curiosity turns confusion into clarity. Evidence is the voice of nature. The most powerful discoveries are often the simplest. Knowledge should liberate, not intimidate. Wonder has no prerequisites. What you don't know is more important than what you do. If it's worth knowing, it's worth questioning. Every mystery is an invitation. Thinking clearly is a form of kindness to yourself and others. Learn to say, I don't know yet, with confidence. All progress begins with curiosity. True thinkers seek clarity, not applause. Respect what nature shows, not what you wish. The best ideas often start as silly questions. You don't need a lab, just a curious mind. Everything real can be tested. Learn how to think, not just what to think. Doubt fuels discovery. To wonder is to be fully alive. All knowledge starts with noticing. Think small, because small things explain big truths. If you're confused, you're getting close to something new. Curiosity is the antidote to ignorance. Knowledge is not a destination, it's a direction. The simplest things can be the most profound. Replace assumptions with experiments. Good questions cut through noise. Think precisely, speak simply. Nature is not obligated to make sense to you. Understand it anyway. You don't have to be perfect to be correct. Here are 100 motivational quotes that not only inspire, but also prove that words have the power to change the way we think, feel, and act. Hopefully, after watching this, you feel stronger, more confident, and more ready to face life's challenges. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on more inspiring content. Because every day deserves to start with passion and powerful motivation.